All right, welcome. This is take two. My name is Dr.Nima Rahmany. This is take two. I want to show before the sunset. Before the sunset's over, this is the Vancouver sunset. Welcome. If you're watching on replay, we're talking about relationship career limbo. Excuse me, not career. Relationship. Can you hear me now? Give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section where you're tuning in from, and if you can hear me. I've had some problems with the audio as of late, some complaints. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I need to. Okay, perfect. Ali, thank you for being there. I had to, thanks for the love, thanks for the hearts. If you hear anything, by the way, in this broadcast that you resonate with, that you've been with, just make a comment. Let me know. Tag somebody that you know that really needs to hear this, or spread the love, spread the hearts. I have very low self-esteem, so I need you to love me. And if you don't love me, then I can't loveth myself. So anyway, I tried the earlier broadcast and it wasn't working, the audio, so I'm doing it all over again. And we're talking about relationship limbo and this whole push-pull. And so what happens is, and how you can actually empower yourself in this, and what the whole push-pull game means. And the first thing I'm going to start by saying is that when you flee, they follow, and when you follow, they flee. And have you ever noticed where you are so full and whole and complete within yourself that you just radiate? And in that space, all of a sudden you're a magnet for relationships, for love, for affection, because internally you've just filled your cup, and all of a sudden it comes at you when you really don't need it. And that's usually when, if you're single, you're desperate, you don't find that relationship. But when you have that inner fulfillment, you become a magnet and you have chances and choices and all these options going on. So this post was inspired by one of the guys in my the Art of Powerful Alignment group, my private Facebook group, and I really wanted to share this with everyone. He said, and he was in a relationship limbo with his woman. They reached out to me like 6 months ago, and they really wanted to get some clarity whether they should stay or whether they should go. They've had it up to here. It's been tough, like enough is enough. Let me know if you've been there before. So he said, what should I do? He reached out. I had a conversation with both of them. They really weren't ready to, make any changes. So lo and behold, 6 months later, he reaches out to me and says, yeah, we're pretty much done. But what I want to know is, what is with this cat and mouse game? All right? Hey, Ali, I know you've been there. What is with this cat and mouse game? Why is it that whenever I empower myself and I say, that's it, enough's enough, screw this, I'm going to empower my life, I'm moving forward, then the person comes running back and says, no, I want to, and then all of a sudden you get mixed in the game, and then you go back to that person, and then now you're the one chasing, and then, yes, the push-pull happens every month with you, Grace, exactly. So why is it that all of a sudden then I go, after that person, and then they're running away, and why is that, and what does that tell us? Well, it's an interesting cat and mouse game, and I believe I have the answer, because what gives me the right to have this answer? Well, first and foremost, I've been through a divorce, so I know the game. I'm good friends with my ex-wife, and we're good now. But I went through that push and pull, and I've been through breakups. And what I do that's as a specialist with this kind of thing is, I've been a chiropractor for 16 years, observing the human condition from the physicality, from the physiological standpoint. And now I work as a coach, a transitional anxiety coach, helping people in relationship and career limbo. So I hear a lot of stories, and I know the story behind the story. And what I've observed basically in this whole dynamic is that every single time you disempower an area of your life, you attract somebody in your existence to overpower you. And because you and your partner are not static, you're a dynamic force. You're charged particles, your emotions, your cellular expansion and death and birth. And in other words, you're always adapting to your environment. You're either expanding or contracting, depending on the content of your mind. Depending on all of that stuff, you are either expanding and contracting, and so is your partner. So what happens is this interesting cat and mouse game that can happen, and what we're talking about is empowerment. What we're talking about is power. So there's 7 areas of life that you're here to empower: the spiritual, the mental, the career, the financial, the social, the family, and the physical. And we're all here. We want empowerment in all of these areas. And we're here to empower all of these areas in ourselves, in our lives. And any area that you don't empower, the partner that you attract overpowers you in that field, in that domain, in that realm that you've disempowered. You know, we label it dysfunctional, we label it as abusive, we label it as oppressive, but the oppressed and the oppressor are a dynamic team. The bully and the bullied are a perfect energetic match for one another because of the realm of empowerment. So you're here, in other words, you attract the perfect vibrational, energetic match, if I can speak a little woo, for you in your level of empowerment. And because you're not static, because you're constantly dynamic, either you're sitting back, you're not moving forward, you're not expanding, you're not pushing your boundaries, you're not facing your fears, you're not doing all of these things, and the other person might be, then all of a sudden we see this discrepancy in the realm of empowerment from one person to another. And what's interesting is within a dynamic in a couple, the person, the one in that dynamic that is disempowered in that moment, is the one who is the underdog, who is struggling and aching and dying for that other person to just completely, tie that person down. The person, let me repeat it in a different way so it makes more sense. In the realm of empowerment between the two of you, the one of you that is disempowered, in other words, the underdog in all of those areas of life of empowerment, you look at them physically, one of them's way better looking than the other. You look at the financial empowerment, one of them's way more than the other. And we kind of have like a scale of empowerment in that whole wheel of life. We kind of, examine each other. You say, oh, nice to meet you. Look at that person. You're like, wow, that person's a 10. I'm going to approach them, right? And then you get to know them. So what do you do? And, oh, what do you do for a living? Oh, they have a job. Then you can kind of check out their career empowerment and make that comparison. This is what you're doing every time you're dating. This is the mating process. Then you start having a conversation with them and you say, hey, tell me about your philosophy on so-and-so. And then you're like, oh, okay, now I can see their intellect and their mental game and how intelligent they are just from the conversation. And then you gauge their mental empowerment compared to yours, and you make an unconscious scale. Then you go, oh, so what do you believe? What do you believe to be true? Oh, I'm a born-again Christian, Bible thumping, boom, and then boom, all of a sudden now you have an engagement, a scale that you can judge them by in their spiritual. You say, oh, really? I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, or I'm a Buddhist, or I'm a Muslim, and then you go, oh, disempowerment, ooh, it doesn't match, you retreat. But if they have the similar, oh, right, you go to that church as well? I go to that church. Oh my God, boom, you have kind of like a judgment that you make. You either proceed or you retreat. And they go, well, you know what? This person's not so much of an asshole. I want to introduce them to my friends. So then you bring them to your friends. You see how they interact with their friends. And then you make a judgment based on their social power and their networking and the people that they know. This is what you're doing unconsciously, whether you know it or not. And then you go, okay, this person has passed all of these. The spiritual, they're not too bad to look at. They don't smell too bad. I can tolerate this. They're pretty intelligent. They got a great job. Spiritually, they're on point. They take care of their body. Okay, so I'm going to introduce them to my family. So then you meet their family. They meet yours. And then now you've made a gauge, okay, an empowerment gauge. And so any area that you are disempowered, that other person has a potential to overpower you. And so this cat and mouse game of push and pull happens when I, or you, I'm saying me, us, when I, in a relationship, look and see and make an unconscious comparison. In the moments where I feel empowered because I've done some work, I've gotten some coaching, I've read some books, I've taken a course, I've empowered myself, I got my degree, I all of a sudden got a raise. Have you ever noticed in your parents' lives, when you're watching your parents, or in your own lives, where when something had a shift, there was a shift that happened, there was a big change that happened in one of you, there was a power dynamic shift. Like one of my patients, I remember, there were two obese individuals who were coming to see me for chiropractic care, couple, and then all of a sudden one of them loses like 60 pounds. and she's coming in. Every time she's coming in, I'm like, holy crap, what the heck? You've lost so much weight. What's going on? And she's like this beaming and totally happy and all this stuff. Because I understand this little game, I kept looking at him from the corner of my eye. He wasn't very happy. He was looking, and what I was interpreting, because of what I understand to be true, is that he was lamenting that there's been a shift in the power dynamic. He became the underdog, and in that moment, thank you, by the way, for the hearts. If this resonates with you and you're getting something valuable out of this, please share this, tag somebody, make a comment, let me know, because this helps engagement. I get to feel your energy, and I get more inspired that I want to share more with you guys if you find this very interesting. What if you have the push-pull with your current partner? What if you keep going back? And if fourth, who's empowered lately? I've been the one empowered the most. Okay, great. What if? What the hell's your question, Chantal? You know how this goes. There's no question here. The answer is, because you haven't, just take a look at that. You didn't really ask a question. You never, what if, what? What's your question? So I'm glad that you're engaging. Thank you for the question. Please ask that question in a different way, and you know what I mean. Okay, what is your question? What do you want to know? Because this is a fact of how it goes. You've been taking the time. You've come to a few of my workshops. You've like elevated and upped your game. If your partner isn't doing that, you're going to start looking and going, geez, man, I got more options. And then what's going to happen is he turns you off. And guess what? When you were out of power, you were turning him off. He was looking for more options, and you were the one going, please, please, pick me. Don't leave me. Make a promise. Promise me something. The underdog always wants the commitment. The overdog wants their freedom. How many of you know what the hell I'm talking about? Every single one of you have been in a situation, okay, where you've been the overdog, and you're like, God, and that person's like, why don't you commit to me? Why? And you're like, I really like you, but right now, geez, I might want to have somebody else on my mind, because you're disempowered, and I could think that I can do better. Now, this is what we all unconsciously do. Relationships are a dynamic process. You are not stationary. You go to a class, you do a course. So ask me a question, Chantal. Ask me a question with what you basically said it. So, what is this cat and mouse game? Well, you are here to empower your life. Amanda is here to empower her life. Whenever I do a shit ton of work, and whenever I'm doing the work on myself, and I'm living my dream, and I'm facing my fears, I'm pushing my boundaries, I'm expanding, what happens is it shifts our power dynamic, and you can see that disempowerment. So if I don't assist her, and if she doesn't step up, there creates a big discrepancy, and that creates stress in the relationship. I know, it sucks. And so if both parties don't take the time to empower their lives, all area of their lives, you create this massive discrepancy, and that creates stress in the relationship. So the answer is to decide what your values are and to live according to them, and to appreciate each and every step of the way. If you are in this state where you're living and you're the disempowered one, and you're begging and wanting that person to just give you a commitment, well, guess what? It's a sign. This is what I told you, Chantal. Remember, we had this conversation last year. I was on the same balcony, and you were lamenting over the fact that he wasn't committing to you. Why won't he do that? Well, now you got your answer, didn't you? You got your answer, which is to live according to your values, to empower all areas, empower every single area of your life, spiritually, mentally, professionally, socially. You did the work. You empowered yourself. You get to the point where you don't have to ask, why don't you love me? Why don't you commit and make me feel safe about my future, because I haven't fulfilled it within myself. That's a sign for you to step up. It's a sign for you to do exactly what you did. Chantal, you're living proof, my dear. Thank you. Because 1 year ago, when I was on this same balcony and I was talking about the same thing, I think it might have been on Periscope or something else, I'm not sure, but you were going, why won't he commit? And I told you the same thing. It's because he's trying to push you to empower all areas of your life. The way that you win this cat and mouse game is you stop looking at somebody else to fulfill you, and you fill what's missing inside. Are you living what you're dreaming? Are you taking that course that you really always wanted? What fears have held you back? What are you not stepping into because you're too busy looking for outside approval? Well, guess what? This cat and mouse game, this disempowerment that you're experiencing, is trying to push you to grow. Exactly, Chantal. This is pushing you to grow. This cat and mouse game that you're living is pushing you to grow. So, what do I have for you? What's the next step? What are you supposed to do? Exactly. You got to be like Chantal. You got to find the right mentor. First and foremost, you got to have a mission statement that's beyond you. We're looking for someone else to give us what we need to give ourselves. Abso-freaking-lutely, Grace. And I want to commend both you, Grace, and I want to also commend Chantal for stepping into it. You were in a state when I met you was looking to somebody else to fill what's missing, and it's never fulfilling when it comes from somebody else. It's only fulfilling when we turn within, we clear our past stories and resentments and all of the anger and the resentment that you're holding on to. You got to clear that and then step forward into your greatest version. And when you do that, hey Jen, what's up? When you do that, all of a sudden, you know, Jen, you're another example. Holy crap, I just keep seeing the people I've been working with. Another example. I want to find the right relationship. Boom! All of a sudden, Jen goes, screw all of this. I'm going to get centered. I'm going to get aligned with myself. The job, the career, the clients, and the relationship come secondary. Keep giving those hearts, baby. If you can hear what I'm saying, I mean, it's sunset now. I just want you guys to see. This sunset cast. That's this beautiful sunset in Vancouver. It is gorgeous here. And if you are resonating with what I'm saying, tag somebody, comment, let us know, let me know, because without your approval, I can't love myself. I can't love myself. No, but Facebook really likes it when people acknowledge. You miss Van City. Well, come. Allie, November 18th weekend, the overview experience, where you can learn how to empower yourself so you can stop playing this little push-pull dance in your relationships, and you can actually find somebody where you can be present within yourself. They're not trying to fill what's missing inside. They're actually just adding. And you can then work as a team together building something phenomenal. Something that is done in love. And to learn, hey, Joelle, it's beautiful, huh? You've been here. You'll be in Cali. No worries, babe. Come to Toronto in 2 weeks. Not this weekend, next weekend. The overview experience is going to be in Toronto. Oh, sorry about that. It's going to be, can you still hear me? Give me a thumbs up, some love. If you can still hear me, I got some audio problems. Good. Yes, working as a team, relationship goals, absolutely. So it is critical. How do you get there so that you can stop playing this cat and mouse game? How? Well, easy. You basically, self-love path, single and loving it. Absolutely. Okay, so what you do is, to end this cat and mouse game, there's a few things. Number one, mission statement. Have a mission statement that's beyond just having that kind of approval from somebody else. Number two, you want to clear all the past resentments and the regrets. Number three, you got to learn how to love your darkness. That's the key. If you don't learn how to love your dark passenger, I have a dark passenger. If you don't learn why it's there, how to dance with it, then you're going to try to hide it and pretend and be fake and then assume that you're not worthy unless you have somebody else's approval because you want to hide that part of you. So what you do is you learn how to dance with that dark passenger. Once you learn, you know exactly how to manage not only yourself, but when triggers come and breakdowns come, you know how to get vulnerable and then get back into communication and work as a team to keep growing together. Because then you can love that person's dark passenger as well. And then the most important one is to get yourself a mentor. To find somebody that you trust that's going to call you out, that's not just going to hear your little sob story, victim story. Oh, but I'm so hurt. I was in an abusive relationship for 30 years. Okay, so one thing clear. I'm not condoning abuse. I'm just saying when you own it, when you own your part. Hey, Sabina, what up, girl? High school friend. Mwah. When you own your part in the disintegration of the relationship, when you own your part in the disempowerment, okay? Full of myself and I wasn't looking for anyone. Exactly, you were full. When you own your disempowerment, then all of a sudden you're not a victim anymore, and then you feel safer and more trusting moving forward. So the overview experience in Toronto is happening not this weekend, it's next weekend. Make sure you're there. We have 3 spots available. We've had 5 sellouts all around the world, and there's a reason why, that people keep coming back, because it's a freaking incredible experience. Make sure you're there. Send me a private message. Vancouver, November 18th, and London, UK, December 2nd and 3rd. I really look forward to traveling around the world and teaching people how to dance with their darkness. Dum-ba-da-ba, do the little salsa, boom, 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 woo! Do the little salsa and mambo with your dark passenger. Writing this here for later. 1 mission statement, clear past Rosette. Yes, love you. And get yourself a mentor. Absolutely. Chantel, could you have done it yourself without somebody just booting your butt out of your little victim story? You were very coachable, by the way. I keep saying this. I'm so grateful for you, and thank you for your participation. Please tag somebody that needs to hear this, who's been struggling with that little game. And send me a private message if this has been resonating to you and you really want to get clear and you want to stop playing the victim and you want to start having relationships where you have power and you have self-expression and you can be vulnerable without trying to, without judging yourself for it. Be vulnerable in your power. Be powerfully vulnerable. God bless you guys. So let me know if you want one of those last spots. We would love to have you, but know if you want to play the victim, this is not for you. This is for you if you want to be a powerful badass. If you've been to one of the overview experiences, please, in the comment section right now, share what your experience has been, what revelation that you had. How did it change your life? How did it move you? Please let me know. Please let me know how it shifted you, how it moved you, because holy crap. I left chiropractic because full-time chiropractic, because I believe that the adjustment above Atlas that I can give can make a huge difference. And before I used to look for followers, now I'm looking for leaders. So only come, and you are worthy, only come, only reach out if you are looking to become an inspired leader and let go of that little story from the past and you're ready to make yourself a priority. Because when you do, you start attracting the right people to support your vision and mission. And I wanted to say God bless. Please share this with your groups. Share this with whoever that you know. Tag somebody, like. Love, love, love. Give me some love because I need your love. And God bless you, and we'll see you at the next perfect time. Mwah!